Santiago, were you tempted to pick your #1 side for today?
Yeah, sure. Every time we represent Argentina, we choose our best players to do it. Obviously, we have some European players that are resting about because preparing for Rugby Championship in the next month. But I think this is a very good team because there are some new players that are doing their first games, and there are some experienced players like Contempomi, Tiesi, Farias. So a mix always is good for our team. So we are very happy about the selection of the team.
Why did you bring this game to Salta? Is it because of the warm weather?
Nah, it's not about me. That the decision is about the union. It's nice to come outside Buenos Aires. You know, people very very kind when you arrive here, and it's a nice place to play. So I think it's a good opportunity to be here in Salta.
It is England. It is, for everybody in the world, an important game. Are you looking at this one game, or will you change everything for the second test?
No. Our first game always is important because it's our first week. A lot of players in Europe, some of them in Argentina, just has to organize them. So we work a lot this week. Perhaps next week we have to be more careful about the lot of work we did, and just to put emphasis in what we think we need to improve. So we will not change everything. We will just adjust the things that we need. But we know we are going to play a team like England, that is a very tough team and play very well. And it doesn't matter for us if the first 10 players or 15 players are not here, because the other players do it very well. They compete in a competitive league like the Premiership. So for us, our main goal is to try to put our work in the field like what we do in the training.
Santiago, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, England have played 8 matches on Argentinian soil, winning 4, losing 3 and drawing 1. This is the team that Santiago Phelan has gone for tonight. Interestingly, he's rested the likes of Juan Martin Fernandez Lobe and Juan Himoff to keep them fresh for the upcoming Rugby Championship, which kicks off in August. Felipe Contepomi, the standout name on that team sheet. His experience with Gonzalo Tiesi in the centre will be crucial. Contepomi has come out of retirement at the age of 35 for a final bow in front of his home fans.
Well struck, that is. Pony. Good angle, Contepomi. That's good power, you know, keeping him off, good pace. That's a very good try.
Try for Felipe Contepomi. Charged down by Contepomi. Now can he rock the ball in? Jarvis is there, as is Contepomi.
Well, Jonathan, what a great servant Contepomi's been for Argentina.
Yeah, he's been a great servant and a great player. You know, he's played almost every country in the world, I think, club and international. So I think he'll have a big influence on today's match because his experience will be, you know, second and none with these youngsters. But I do expect England to come down this channel. He is 35, and unfortunately, age catches up with everyone. You know, it's a sentimental game, and I expect them to come down that channel and then go a little bit wider. So, but you know, you gotta, you know, with Phelan the coach, everyone talks about, you know, looking after their players, you know, and you have to, but they play 12 months a year, the Argentinians, you know, that most of them play in the Northern Hemisphere, and then they go down south to play in the competition for the international. So it's a very difficult job for him to, you know, to balance all the players.
It would have been fantastic had we seen the likes of Lobe and Imhoff, Clive, but just assess their contribution to the Rugby Championship. Do you think they've improved since they've been there? They drew with South Africa last year.
Oh, hugely. They're just on the start, you know, their journey now. To get them into that major tournament was a massive step forward, and including like Graham Henry's coaching there. So once you get into that sort of tournament, the whole standard rises, and they added to it. I mean, they drew with Australia, they could have beaten South Africa, and they were right there. So full strength, this Argentina is a handful. We saw that 2007, they came third in the World Cup. This is a tough team, great rugby country. And I was just thinking, are you coming out of retirement soon? Are you
too big now?
You've toured there as well, Clive. What's it like? How unique a rugby atmosphere is it down in Argentina? Because what I found interesting this week is Stuart Lancaster's spoken an awful lot this week about the atmosphere and how England have got to embrace that atmosphere.
Well, I went there as a player in 1981. I was in that 19-all draw time. But what I remember two things. I remember training on polo pitches, of going there and just finding these amazing pitches where the quality of the turf was fantastic. So I assumed that was where the football team trained, but it was where the polo pitch was. So I remember the polo pitch. The other thing I remember was the crowd, all this jumping up and down behind the stands. The crowd get in, they're very, very passionate about it. So it's a great place to tour, but it's tough. Every player, they're kind of wider than they're taller, and just a physical place. But a great country to go to as a player.
OK, let's hear then from the England coach. Let's hear from Stuart Lancaster.
Stuart, what is this tour for England in terms of development?
I think it's crucial in our evolution, really. You know, we've got a lot of young players, a hugely talented squad, players who are in form at the end of the Premiership season, and for us, I want to try and move our game plan on as well. So it's everything, really, and it's a really important tour for us.
Have you had to temper those desires to move the game faster with where you are? You are in Argentina.
Yeah, obviously there's a balance to how we want to play the game, but equally we don't want to come off the field, you know, wondering what we could have done. You know, we want to make sure we have a chance, you know, to give the likes of Christian Wade and David Strettle and Mike Brown the ball. You know, we've got a great passing midfield combination. Freddie Burns obviously playing well at 10, but we recognise that you've got to build a score as well, and game management's going to be important. So I think the start, first 20 minutes, and obviously the atmosphere is going to be pretty hot. We've got to make sure we manage that first 20 minutes well.
This is there are a lot of young faces out there. Who should we be looking out for?
Well, I think if you go through the pack, the likes of Joe Launchbury, you know, continuing his form. Matt Kovacic at 7, you know, it's a great opportunity for him to get his chance at open side. Billy Vunipola coming off the bench with obviously Ben Morgan there starting at 8. But I think the back line, you know, in its entirety, really, Lee Dixon likes to play quick. Freddie Burns, you know, obviously playing well. And good ball players and good speed without.
5 new caps there could be by the end of the day. That is a step into the unknown, but it's exciting.
It is a step into the unknown. That's what it feels like, to be honest, for me as a coach. But it's an exciting step, I think, and it's one that's necessary for us in our development.
You've played one game. How confident are you after the one game over here and the Barbarians game? What general state are you in?
I think we're in good state, really. I thought the Barbarians' performance, you know, the Barbarians copped for a bit of criticism on the back of that game, and I thought actually no one gave us the credit for actually a pretty good performance. I thought we played well that day. The first game over here was a real difficult challenge and completely different for our players, and it was a great indication of what's going to happen today. You know, they were very hard at the breakdown, very difficult to break down, and it's a good marker for what's going to be like today.
Good luck, Stuart. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Eddie. Thank you.
Stuart Lancaster, once again on good form pre-match. Here's another look at the team then. Just 123 caps in the starting lineup, average age of 25. Felipe Contepomi has more caps than the entire England backline combined. It's a debut for Christian Wade, who scored 18 tries in 26 games for Wasps in the Premiership last season. In the forwards, Joe Marler was a late change after Alex Corbisiero was called up by the British and Irish Lions to replace the injured Cian Healy. 2 key men for England then, both making their first starts, will be Freddie Burns at 10 and open side flanker Matt Kovacic. They've been speaking with Simon Mills.
Freddie, you've got a bit of a reputation as a sort of creative player. Have you had to learn how to manage a game?
I think, yeah, a little bit more just the when and wheres of you know, when it's on to give those passes or when it's on to try that little bit of something creative, and yeah, it's something I've really worked on with Gloucester this year, and I'm happy with how it's gone, and hopefully I can bring it to the game on Saturday.
I'm really proud. It's a massive achievement, I think, to represent your country. I know there's only been about 1,350 odd, I expect, I think, something like that have ever represented their country since it started. So that to be in such a group like that is a massive privilege, and to play with some great guys as well.
You had the perfect introduction to playing for England. What was it like being part of that sort of special day against New Zealand? Yeah,
it's sort of, words can't really explain it. It was so surreal to get the opportunity to, number one, when you first cap it at Twickenham, and number 2, to beat the All Blacks is sort of what dreams are made of. So to get out there at Twickenham and get on the pitch and kick a couple of penalties as well was it was a memorable day, and hopefully I can just keep building from then.
So what are your specific jobs?
For me, I suppose that first phase and trying to secure some quick ball to let the outside backs have a bit of space and a bit of space to run in, because they'll be lethal once Christian showed it in the Premiership this year already. Obviously David Strettle's, he's been here before, and JJ as well is lethal on the counter attack. So I think that's trying to secure a ball and try and turn some over as well, which is my key role. Yeah.
What do you expect from Argentina?
It's going to be a noisy atmosphere. It's going to be a physical contest, and they've got certain players like Felipe Contepomi and TAC who can do that little bit something special as well. So it's going to be a tough challenge, and hopefully we can get out there and really play some good rugby and have a good performance.
Tell us about Freddie a bit.
Obviously his talent is visible with the ball in hand and on the pitch, how dangerous he can be, and his game management has been superb as well. So I'm looking forward to playing alongside him. So yeah.
Interesting stuff from the fellows there. Well, Clive, all this week Stuart Lancaster has talked about the breakdown he just did a few moments ago there with Eddie Butler as well. That's going to be a key aspect of tonight's game. Is Kovacic the missing link, do you think?
I think England were going well into the game against Wales, where, and I'm sure you look at Rob Shaw, and you also look at the Lions now with O'Brien and Tipperick. I mean, what is a traditional seven? I think you've got to be careful about what this person looks like. I think he's the traditional, this guy, Kovacic. He's a great player. He's very strong over the ball. He's probably more like Neil Back. He's the first guy I can see that's very similar to Back in terms of his size and the way he approaches the game. But I think we've got to be careful about what is this seven, so you're not keeping people like Rob Shaw out of the team. Because until Wales game, Rob Shaw to me was on the Lions tour and probably just one of the starting players who've been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So
and I think a lot of people were quick to forget
it's how you play the game.
The game against the All Blacks.
It's how you play the game. Rob Shaw plays the ball off the ground. His passing game's better, where this guy will be on the floor. So it should be balance. England had one bad game against Wales, and it cost them dear, and it cost Rob Shaw dear. Yeah. But I think it's a great guy's a good player, but I also think Rob Shaw's a great player in the seven position as well.
Yeah, I think we're very lucky. We've got Tom Wood who's captain today, and Woody and Robbo together were fantastic. And he said that All Black game and throughout the autumn, those two were running around, winning all the breakdown and making us a wonderful force in the back row. But he said one game and everyone's kind of written Robbo off.
How quick is Christian Wade?
You wouldn't want to have let him have 5 metres of space, let alone 15. So let's hope he gets a bit of ball today and can show his pace.
He scored some stunning tries this season.
I think I can't give him a higher compliment that he reminds me of Martin Offiah, right? When Martin used to score 60 tries a year, and when he gets a ball in his hand, he is a fly machine. And I think that it's interesting. You've got Freddie Burns, but also you've got the midfield, 12 trees, and Jonathan Joseph. I think with the England side, you've got Brad Barrett, who's defence, captain, and then you've got Tuolangi as well there, so he's a great ball carrier, and maybe Alex comes in as a second 5'8". They've got great back three, but I think this time with 12 trees, hopefully with him and Freddie Burns, we'll see the ball go a little bit wider, and then we'll see the best of Wade then, because Strettle's had a big season as well, for Saracens, so they're a very dangerous back three, and it'll be interesting to see how they go today.
Terrific stuff, guys. We're getting our money's worth out of Eddie Butler this evening. Now he's with our co-commentator this evening, Andy Robinson.
Andy Robinson, how difficult is it to come to Argentina and to come to up-country Argentina?
Oh, it's a tough place to play. You can see the people already in here. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. And what's going to be key for the England players is to attack the Argentinians. You don't want to give them time on the ball. You don't want to give them rhythm and get the crowd to be supporting them. So looking for England to really have a go at them today.
Have a go at them? How? Are they going to experiment? Are they going to try anything new?
Well, with the centre combination that's there, it's going to be playing to 12 trees, being able to give Joseph that ball to be able to attack, because the Argentinians have a drift defence, so they'll be able to get to the 13 channel, which will bring in Wade and Strettle into the game. And I think that's important for the players coming into the game, that they want to get an early touch. With the atmosphere as it is, you want players to get an early touch.
Are you surprised that Santiago Phelan has not chosen his number one team for this game against England?
Well, it's a different philosophy for them, but they're now in the Rugby Championship, and for them it's about being successful in that championship. So they're using this very much as a development game. They're using players that are going to be on the fringes and will be their backup squad come the Rugby Championship. However, I came here in 1990, and there's some very good Argentinian rugby players, and many players that have great skills, and these players today will be playing for that shirt.
Quick prediction?
I think England will go well today. There's going to be a bit of pressure on them at the start, but I'm looking forward to seeing the midfield start to take control of the game and England actually find some finishing touches.
Here they come then. And Alex, you're part of the squad, and this week I've been struck by Stuart Lancaster talking about instilling the national identity, national pride in England. What's it like? 5 minutes before you come up, what's he like? What does he say?
At that point he doesn't say too much. He's come up to the players 5 minutes for the game. He's prepped you before that, and you do feel the pride of the country, and you want to go out there and put your best foot forward. But once you're in the change room, it's about the guys, the group, and knowing that the guy on your left and the guy on your right is going to back you up when it gets tough.
And one would suggest, Clive, one of the reasons why he's doing that this week is because he knows what sort of intimidating atmosphere those players are about to embrace in Salta. 20,000 screaming Argentinians.
Yeah, we've got a lot of history against Argentina on and off the field, so it's a big night for them. And I think, personally, you've got to build the pressure up. You are trying to find out which players can play well under the pressure. International rugby is a big pressure environment, and so you want to build it up. You want to put pressure on them and not try and take it off them. And this is a game England should win based on the two teams. And so build it up, attack that guy there, Contapone, 35 years old, and England should be fine. But as Jonathan said, the key thing to me is can Burns, can 12 Trees, can they get the ball in the hands of a very exciting back three in Brown, Wade and Strettle, and England should be fine.
Let's ask you just very quickly on Freddie Burns.
Yeah, I hope he has a good game. He's very, very talented, and but like I said, it's just about out of your comfort zone. You saw the change room there, small change room compared to change rooms they change in now. But we don't know this Argentinian pack, and if England can get on top of them, I expect a lot of points. If not, then we'll have to see how good the half-backs are.
And let's not forget Freddie Burns, when he came on against the All Blacks, he was terrific, wasn't he?
He's fantastic. It was a really great performance from him for the last half an hour.
Good stuff. We're all set. Here come the anthems.
Anthem for England and Argentina.
The smoke that greeted the players as they came out onto the Padre Martí Arena Stadium in Salta has disappeared into the evening air. Perfect conditions here. Argentina have picked a pack that ranges from the mid-20s into their 30s, but not with much international experience. There is size there, but not many caps. Behind the scrum, there is the one and only Felipe Contepomi. 79 caps, today is his 80th, 15 tries he has scored, which is 15 more than the entire England pack. Not a try among these young England forwards picked to do a difficult job here in Salta. Tom Wood leads from the back row. A first cap for Matt Kvesic. Behind the scrum, there is a willingness to feed the wings. Christian Wade, he wins his first cap on the wing. Dave Strettle on the other wing. Mike Brown at fullback. It is a test for Freddie Burns at outside half. Good evening, Andy Robinson.
Evening, Eddie. Well, really looking forward to this game. I think Dave Wilson, he's the most experienced prop and most experienced forward out there. It's a huge game for him today, but also for Tom Wood as a leader and captain of the team, and also that access with Burns and 12 trees. Can they get the England game going? Can we get some flow to the game, but also see some finishing of great movements?
We're just waiting for the band to clear the pitch. Today's referee, Chris Pollock of New Zealand. Interesting, Andy, he will do the first Lions test in Australia.
He will indeed. He's been out of the game for a little while with a hip injury. He's an ex-halfback, and he will make sure that there's quick ball at the tackle contest. So that will play into England's hands.
Argentina against England in Salta. Christian Wade follows up, makes his first tackle in international rugby. Benjamin Urdapilleta at number 10 for Argentina. First touch for Ben Morgan.
Straight away, great pressure from the England forwards, squeezing at the kicker, therefore not getting great distance. Means England have got a line out just inside the Argentina half.
Christian Wade of Wasps, his first cap, 22 years old, and a real flyer on the wing. First line out of the game.
Really?
Rob Webber of Bath, his fourth cap. Tom Wood at the front goes up and wins to Lee Dixon. Billy Twelvetrees. Freddie Burns, this is Ben Morgan in midfield. Joe Launchbury in the second row takes it on. Here's Matt Kvesic, the offload, and England through 12trees. Good footwork by 12trees, forward pass.
Straight away, a plan move from the training ground, a five-man line out, getting the ball early into 12trees' hands. He passing the ball out the back to Freddie Burns, and Morgan carried really strongly. Unfortunately, on the way back, not enough structure, but a good start. This will be interesting, the first scrum. Argentina love their scrummaging. Yeah, and we're looking at the, unfortunately, 12trees in front of the ball carrier there, and a forward pass, which was unfortunate. England got a little bit too flat from that movement on the way back.
England, space on both sides. Although it is Argentina's put in, they are slightly concerned about their scrummage in Argentina, which is unusual to say the least.
Yes, it is, but it's an old front row. It's very inexperienced at international level. Their scrummaging coach, Reggie Ardo, said to me before the game that he was a little bit concerned about the scrummaging.
This is David Wilson against Pablo N. Martin Landafo to feed the scrum. Good drive by Argentina, rock solid. And away comes number 8, Tomas Leonardi. Another plan move. Fullback, Martin Bustos Moyano. Contepomi to Esteban Losada, the second row.
Argentina are playing into a little wind, and that's why they're keeping the ball in the hand.
This is Uda Pizeta, outside half.
This is really good defence from England.
Contepomi, inside pass. Argentina have made 0 yards.
Very good low tackles. Good talking as well, and enabling the second man to get in past the ball, slowing the ball down.
And still Argentina keep the ball in the hand. Again, the brick wall defence. Contepomi.
Well played, England. That was really, really good defence. And sometimes you want to get yourself into the game, and you can do that through a great defensive effort. And that was shown there. Tackles being made in 2s and 3s, which enabled England to slow the ball down. And in the end, Contepomi trying to force the pass created the error.
Contepomi hasn't put a single ball on his boot yet.
Stay. Yep.
Away come England from their own line at 12 trees. Half a gap. Contepomi with the tackle. Dave Strettle plays scrum half. Can't pick it up. Advantage being played. Argentina. Landajo does kick. Across comes Mike Brown.
That's great play from Mike Brown. It's better kick from 22 to 22, relieving the pressure in that way.
Landajo scurries back. Good footwork. Martin Bustos Mojano. Numbers for Argentina. Contepomi.
The England defence is being tested, but it's holding out well.
Farias Carrejo, the oldest of the forwards, 34 years old, back row forward. Good offload, and another one. Not that time. England will have the put in, but Argentina, after running into a brick wall, suddenly finding a few yards there.
Yeah, great work with the second pass, and it just shows you if you can make that second pass, there's space to play into. When England had their first attack, unfortunately, as Billy Twelvetrees ran through, there wasn't support with him, but there's a number of really good offloads, and actually from the fullback Mohicanos, that ball should have gone because there was space to play to. But a great tackle coming in from everybody from the England team, really trying to hunt the tackles.
There seems to be a threat for the Argentina back three, though. Manuel Montero on the left wing is a giant, and Martin Bustos Mojano at fullback looks full of running.
I love the way the crowd claps when there's a scrum.
Touch!
Free kick.
England are lacking balance at the scrum at the moment.
Error by Argentina, knock on, England with the put-in. Bang on halfway.
This will be an important scrum for England. They lacked the balance in the setup in that last scrum and conceded the free kick. There's been a lot of tackles being made, and what is pleasing to see is that every time England are completing their tackles, it's important they keep doing that.
Lee Dixon, scrum half for England. Ben Morgan with the scrum cap at number 8.
Touch! Sit!
Yeah, that's a very good scrum. It's going forward.
At a rate.
Morgan in very good control.
Argentina will be penalised. Ben Morgan comes away and beats one man. Looks for the pass. England have the penalty.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed about that. Morgan was looking for the offloads, but the support players were too far away from him. It's important when somebody's in the contact like that the support players get close to him. That was a great opportunity. England are probably going to get 3 points here, but potentially there was a try on offer in that phase of play. But a very, very good scrum. Just showing the power that is in this England pack, with Atwood being brought in, working with Joe Launchbury, keeping the pressure through there, and well done, England.
Freddie Burns. Second cap. It's a tricky one, Andy. It's longish, it's straight.
He's got the win with him.
Distance, never a problem. That went sailing over.
Great kick.
3 points to 0. England lead in Salta.
That's been brought about by very good England defence, putting a lot of pressure at the tackle contest, making really good low tackles, and then dominating the set piece. And it's always important to, when those set piece situations occur, to get some dominance there. And well played, England.
Benjamin Ula-Pieta, who plays in France.
He was way in front.
Winger in front.
Something that really frustrates you as a forward pack. You want to have an opportunity to get some territory, and your winger runs in front of the kicker. Let's see how Argentina respond to being driven backwards.
From this spot.
Exactly. Be good for England to play off the scrum again, though. Morgan made very good yards. You need to get the support players working closer to him, and there'll be opportunities to score from this.
Touch! Touch! Sit!
And again, it's a good drive by England. Ben Morgan controls the ball again, and it's a replica of what happened a few moments ago. This time, England go left. Jonathan Joseph. Billy 12 trees quickly over the ball. Dixon looks left, goes right. Burns, Rob Webber, the hooker. Can't get the ball to Matt Kvesic, who would go back to the original penalty. And it is almost from the very same spot.
Exactly. And again, a very, very good scrum. Unfortunately, from England's phase play at the moment, players are getting a little bit flat outside the second receiver. The forwards are running a little bit too early, and therefore there's no pace onto the ball. Just need to hold a little bit of depth, a little bit of there's a bit of urgency there from the England players. Probably want you to get into play too quickly. So the guys just need to hold their depth, let the play in front of them happen, and then they'll be able to come hard onto the ball. And you need to do that against a very good Argentinian defence.
Couple of metres longer than the first, but the way the first one went over, those extra yards will be nothing.
It's not like the silence at Welford Road or Northampton Saints, is it? And that's a great kick, and well done, Freddie Burns. When you're playing away from home, it's important to get the scoreboard moving, and England will gain real confidence with these 6 points they've got.
2 identical penalties, 2 scrums that went forward, 2 penalties by Freddie Burns. England 6 points in the lead. Argentina hold their line behind the restart kick. Hooker, Rob Webber with the pass, 12 trees. Joseph.
Well, England have got a repeat set because there was a touch from an Argentinian, but that was good movement, and they had the ability to kick. Unfortunately, the Argentine defence was pretty good there, which stopped a real go forward. England, it's right that they play inside their own half, but it's important that they keep going forward.
Here's Rob Webber, captain of the tour game against the Consort 15, which England won handsomely, 41-21.
An interesting tactic from Argentina. They didn't go into the maul. They all stepped away from the line out, creating an offside position, and simple 3 points now for Argentina. It's one of the difficulties when you want to be a mauling side, that when a team steps away from you, you've got to be able to move the ball out of the maul. England didn't move the ball out of the maul, and therefore were offside.
Yeah. Thank you.
Up steps the fullback, Martin Bustos Moyano.
One thing I will say about the England set piece, the line out has worked very, very well to start with. The scrum is going well. Rob Baxter will be really pleased with those first set piece. And the crowd is silent.
And remain silent as the penalty slides wide. England remains 6 points to 0 in the lead.
For the first 15 minutes of this game, England will be really pleased with the start they've had.
The breakout by right winger Matias Orlando. Penalty advantage to Argentina.
Yeah, advantage.
Inside ball.
Roll out!
Second row. Esteban Lozada. No advantage played. Chris Pollock with a loud blast will go back to the penalty. Into the wind, a bit too long for a crack at goal.
I think this is too long. I expect them to think about getting some territory, kicking the ball into the corner.
Jabala going blonde down the middle.
But that situation occurred through the first missed tackle, through Freddie Burns and Billy Twelvetrees missing that first up tackle. England going backwards and chasing the ruck, unfortunately, and quite often penalties are given away in that type of situation when you're going backwards. That's a great kick.
That is a very good kick by Benjamin Urdapizeta down to 20 metres from the England goal line. Garcia Vega throws. And Argentina have their first charge at the England midfield. And the crowd stirs.
Cloud, he was on his feet.
And Argentina lose it. England through Burns. Clear their lines. Downwind.
That was a great turnover. I think it was Joe Launchbury be able to get over the ball again through very good first up tackles. So as soon as the tackle's low, it enables players to get in over the ball. And that was Rob Webber in there. Through the first tackle being low, enabled Webber to get over that ball.
David Wilson was busy there too, and it's a good steal by England. And through comes Christian Wade, and here's the pace of Wade and the pass of Wade. Ben Morgan in support. Matt Kvesic up for the back row. Wade now goes in, acting scrum half to Burns. Goes a bit loose to Jonathan Joseph. Joseph, though, gets the pass away, and it's England's first try through Dave Strettle. Chris Pollock asks Nigel Owens, the Welsh touch judge, if he's happy. He is. Try for England.
Great play. Coming from the turnover at the line out. Atwood getting up and winning the ball, and the unstructured Argentinian defence, because it was a turnover, enabled Wade to carry for the first time, and he carried brilliantly. Great support work from the back row, Morgan up in support, and then a fantastic finish. And I'm really delighted for David Strettle. David Strettle started his England career very, very well, scoring tries like that, and that's so important for England to be able to finish that 5 metres from the line. And well done, Jonathan Joseph. Great work to complete the pass under a little bit of pressure there. I think everything's going to plan at the moment. Any of us, Stuart Lancaster, I'd be really happy with the control that England are showing. Even when Argentina have had the ball, England look in complete control. Paul Gustard will be delighted with the defence.
Burns for the extras. Not quite. Argentina 0, England 11.
You see that great pass to Christian Wade, and great presence of mind to get the pass back to Morgan. And the same from Joseph. Players going through contact and looking for their support players.
Joe Launchbury with the catch. Rob Webber hands it on to Lee Dixon. Advantage being played.
And that is, again, from the forwards, well executed move. To catch the restart like that, set it up and get a maul going. Argentina infringe again. This will enable, with the wind, England to get inside the Argentina half without having to play any rugby. That is a great statement to make. Now we can, England can launch a line-out attack, and the first couple have gone off the top and moved the ball into space. So again, we're looking for something like that again.
We're back on the halfway line where Burns has landed 2 penalties. This time it's a line out. England go long, and it's well taken by Launchbury. Lee Dixon, Burns, 12-tree, cuts back. Strettle off his wing.
Stop.
A little bit of variety here. Testa for Manuel Montero. Advantage being played to England. Here's Kovacic.
3 move. Advantage over.
Good footwork, Freddie Burns to get past number 8, Thomas Leonardi. Mike Brown nearly through, gets the pass away.
2-2.
England are setting themselves up to play both sides of the ruck, which is putting the Argentine defence under real pressure of where they go to mark up.
Joe Marler sets up the ruck. David Wilson, happy enough in the centre, the prop.
Release, Reed.
Unfortunately, he was isolated, and that's a turnover.
And a penalty to Argentina.
That was some really good build-up play, but again, the isolation of a player relates to a turnover. England just got to keep working that support play. Someone like David Wilson needs players around him to get to him to secure that ball. Here you see the turnover from Atwood. That's great skill. And then the awareness of Morgan to pick up Christian Wade, but also great work from Christian Wade to be on his inside shoulder. And England recycled the ball very, very well here. From a turnover, being able to move the ball to the space. And Joseph showing really good footwork and presence of mind to get the offload for Strettle to score. And what a great finish.
The line-out steal by Dave Atwood to start it all off.
You Gibbs, great.
So it's now an attacking line-out for Martin Garcia Veiga. Overthrown. Ben Morgan has a chance to throw himself and moved up Pizeta, and here comes 12-trees. Stops, waits for the support to get to him. Lee Dixon. Burns. Strettle again. Webber lets it go. Joe Launchbury hits the wall. Mike Brown. Bustos Moyano. This is going up from Martin Landajo, the scrum half.
Use that!
Up and away into touch.
If you think where that's come from, again, it's come from an Argentina line-out on England's 22. Talks about the, you see Launchbury going through. Argentina always very good at making low tackles. And I think both the Argentine defenders did very well there not to tip him over.
Farias Cabello and Massimiliano Bustos, the tacklers, and taking responsibility after they'd picked up the player. Billy 12 trees.
So expect some pick and go here. The forwards are all working behind the ball. Just a change of focus again. Change the point of attack. Go a little bit closer to the ruck.
Farias Cabello, the hard tackler, is down as Mike Brown juggles and hangs on to the ball. 12 trees running the angle.
He runs some great lines.
Rob Webber, Morgan again.
Roll!
Kvesic.
Move, England!
Turnover ball. Argentina come away with it. Good tackle.
Really good scramble defence.
On Orlando, the winger. And away comes Mike Brown with prop Joe Marler in support.
Play on, nothing formed, only tackle.
Rob Webber gets the pass away to Matt Kvesic. 12 trees. Gets the ball to Ben Morgan.
Roll!
Christian Wade, great pass. Second try for England. It's Billy 12 trees. Excellent build-up play, clinical execution. England's second try.
That came from really good support work. But the difference in this game for England is their ability to get the offloads. And that's where 12 trees, Morgan, their link play has been very, very good. When you've got low tackles, it frees you up to get offloads. So the forwards, it's good to see the front five making the passes. England a bit more urgency to the tackle contest. I say Burns, 12 trees linking with Morgan, really good offloads. And here, this was the key, quick ball, really close to the line. England have got isolated on a couple of occasions, which has created turnovers. In this situation, they got support to the ball, and it was very simple.
What was noticeable as well, the isolated player stopped and waited. You know, there's Ben Morgan, Christian Wade, happy, comfortable, not to be getting isolated.
Oh, that was very good. What's also been noticeable is the front five have been passing. You've seen David Wilson make the scrum half pass, and he's passed to Rob Webber. Now, the guys are pretty comfortable passing the ball, which is something that Mike Catt has been working on. He's been working with the front five to enable them to pass the ball, and it's paying dividends at the moment.
Here's Ben Morgan. Didn't try the offload that time. It didn't matter because the little pause by Christian Wade created the finish for Billy 12 trees, and it's a very handsome 18 points to 0 lead for England.
Yep. Move!
Fullback Bustos Moyano.
England using the wing, getting some territory, but having a really good line and slowing down.
Pablo N The loose head prop. The one being slowed down.
Come back, Olivia. Stay up!
Here's Gonzalo Tiesi, the centre outside Contepomi. Big second row, Losada. Kick forward for Orlando to chase. Mike Brown covered it safely.
I'm really impressed by the work that the back three do. Mike Brown and his two wingers working in the pendulum. They're always in very good position to stop the threats of kicks. There was like the one that was put through there.
Argentina throw just coming off Mike Brown before the touchline. But another line out goes Pauline, Kvesig to Ben Morgan, and now Billy Twelvetrees. Joseph outside him, straightens. Nearly got the perfect offload away. As it is, Freddie Burns picks up the scraps and goes on a little dance and a neat offload to Tom Woods. Rob Webber sorts out the slight mess.
That is really disappointing for England. That was a great position to be in. They could have killed Argentina off there. A little bit sloppy, some offloads going in, but nobody really taking control of actually going hard onto the ball. And actually, I felt a little bit of showboating in that bit of play. England were pretty decisive when they scored their tries. If they had been decisive there, they would have scored another try.
I just think we haven't mentioned much of Tom Wood, but I know, Andy, you rate him as a sort of latter-day Richard Hill.
He does so much good work off the ball and getting to the tackle contest. His support play is very, very good. Garcia Vega is under real pressure. This is his first real big international start, and he is struggling at the line-out.
Struggles again because Tom Wood, the captain, he thought he's having a quiet day. He suddenly perked up. Rob Webber. Good pass, Burns to Jonathan Joseph. Straightens, pauses. Mike Brown from fullback. Neat offload to Dave Strettle. Strettle for the line. Somehow Argentina have turned it over.
Simon!
And that urgency to get to the ball carrier. Close to the line. Yeah, we saw when England scored their try, Joseph made a really good work to get over the tackle.
Use it!
That's a poor turnover.
Landacho. Mike Brown. Ben Morgan to Christian Wade. Beats the tackle of Tiesi. Has to cut back inside, has to go backwards, but then links up with Freddie Burns. Another Burns tackle hits the deck, but it falls to Mike Brown.
Use it!
Twelvetrees. Dave Atwood, the second row.
Move!
Burns delays, waits for Twelvetrees, who gets a good pass away. Wade to Ben Morgan. England's third try scored by the number 8. And he had the feeling that at some stage Ben Morgan was going to score.
Again, what a fantastic finish. Get your best finishers on the ball 5 metres from the line. England have been doing that. They've had Twelvetrees on the ball, they've got Strettle on the ball, and there you got Ben Morgan. And that's a fantastic finish from him. 2 people trying to tackle him. Superb work. But again, England there were clinical. There was measure to their play. Players were going to the line, giving the good offloads with people in space, and then a fantastic finish by Morgan.
Before this game, the entire England team had scored 2 tries. And in 32 minutes, they've scored 3 more.
It's now looking like a training ground run. It's gone absolutely perfectly for England. Argentinians' set piece has gone to pot. They haven't been able to get any control in the game. And Burns is kicking very, very well.
Over goes the extra 2 from wide out. Argentina stuck on 0. England moving ahead fast, now on 25.
For these young England internationals, playing international rugby seems quite easy for them, doesn't it? Say, Tom Wood winning that line out. When you don't win your set-piece possession, when it's under pressure, it means you start forcing passes and try different types of kicks, as is happening there. Suddenly, Argentina are going out of structure.
Ben Morgan returns the favour, gets the pass to Christian Wade. Good pick-up.
Webber started well. He's thrown well.
Stop, England!
Been making some very good tackles, but he's been a key passer in some of England's moves.
And it's a second one to Montero that the winger can't catch. Knock on.
Christy, just stay here. I'm going to go this side.
England scrum. There is Manuel Montero. Huge, but he's dropped 2.
He's not had a lot of ball in hand, has he? And as soon as it's quite a lonely place to be at times.
Crouch! Touch! Sit!
But the scrum by Argentina, England recover it well enough, and then up goes Ben Morgan. He's offered himself a little kick and chase, and the equally large Manuel Montero gets back in time. But
Eddie, has he been watching old tapes of you breaking off from the scrum?
I think he gave more danger to the winger. It looks like a long evening for Benjamin Urdapilleta, the outside half. He's had nothing to work off. This time Argentina do get possession, but it's gone forward. England scrummage.
Well, that was unlucky for Argentina. They competed well in the air. Lasada getting through, unfortunately, to knock the ball on. It just showed that there's still a little bit of fight left in Argentina. That last scrum, they won the hit, put England a little bit more pressure. If they can get this scrum, will be an important one for England to get that dominance back now. And we've got 5 minutes coming into to half time. And a great scrum, great place for England to launch one of their back plays.
Salta is 3,800 feet above sea level. It's dry. England seem to be coping very well with the conditions.
When you're going forward, it seems quite easy. The heat seems to hurt you a lot more when you're going backwards, and Argentina are going backwards all the time.
Yeah, on me,
Apart from
please.
a good start inside their half in the first 5 minutes where they moved the ball well, they're not putting England under any pressure at all.
Crouch! Touch! Sit!
Another penalty for England at the scrimmage.
Number 1.
Well done, Dave Wilson, and the whole front row.
Pablo N of Brive in France, penalised.
And this is really good. You're supposed to go for the penalty. England kicking to the corner. Again, trying to really apply the pressure. We've got 4 minutes to half time. Just to crank up that pressure. Actually, it'd be nice to see a maul here, Eddie. Just to change the way England have been playing. All the balls have been going off the top. Have a really good maul. And we're going to 6+1 line out.
Be nice to see a tail peel. Instead, it's a mess. One that goes wrong.
A little bit of extra movement in that line out, and unfortunately it went to pot. England hadn't been moving that much, and been winning the ball all day, suddenly get really close to the line, try a little set play and lose the ball. How disappointing.
They'll have a second go at something. It's still an England throw. Lee Dixon checks
It's going on.
with Freddie Burns. What the backs want. Rob Webber, he has to do his job first. Joe Launchbury there, maybe the target. Instead, it's Tom Wood, the captain.
Straight.
Not straight.
Leave! No, Simon, just leave him. Leave him.
There's a little bit of fisticuffs occurring. It's important that England keep their discipline. You don't want to lose a player now just before half-time.
Now, hold up. Scrum, Argentina.
Scrimmage is all we're going to have. Argentina put in. Couple of minutes left.
And there we see you can't see the not straight, but
Joe Marler against Esteban Losada.
a little bit of aggression on the floor, but just chest-to-chest stuff, that's okay.
Crouch! Touch! Sit!
Not straight, and then Argentina shunted backwards. This is the number 8, Tomas Leonardi. Second row, Mariano Galarza. Argentina have a penalty. Still a minute and a bit to go.
Argentina, we want to get to half-time without any other scores going against them. They've been totally outplayed in this first half, and they'll know they'll have the win second half. They'll look to change maybe a little bit of their tactics, get a little bit more accuracy at the set piece, and maybe get some territory and launch some attacks against England and get the crowd behind them. I think that's what they'll be looking for.
What they were trying to do in their warm-up was bring Big Montero into midfield, but they haven't had the possession to do it. Now they might have a chance. The setup in close midfield. Penalty advantage.
Rolled out.
Yes, 2 or 3 tackle contest offences now by England, and England got to be a little bit careful. They don't need to be giving these penalties away. It's just going to give Argentina a cheap opportunity just before half-time.
Felipe Contepomi is talking to Gonzalo Tiesi.
Felipe!
There's a little bit of confusion whether they should be going for the posts.
Shot.
I think it's communication he's complaining about.
Yes, it looks that way.
Sean, can you hear me?
On comes the tee. Actually, this is an important kick for Argentina. Yeah, to get 3 points on the board. They'll have a second half. They've got a little bit of the wind. If they can kick this penalty, get a really good team talk at half-time, and England will be under pressure in that first 10 minutes after half-time.
Martin Bustos Mozano missed with his first. He's on his way to Bayonne next season. Doesn't miss with his second, and Argentina do have something to show at the end of a very difficult first half for them. Here in Salta, England have had an excellent 40 minutes, and the score at half-time is Argentina 3, England 25.
Ian Wade wowed the Premiership last season. His electrifying pace on display again tonight. His Test debut, and Wade in a flash of speed and awareness setting up England's first try. England looking very comfortable in possession. Ben Morgan at number 8 having a terrific game. Billy Twelvetrees winning his 5th cap, scoring his 2nd Test match try, and then Morgan going over for England's 3rd try. Well, England dominating territory, they're beating defenders, the set piece is going well, the scrum's going well, the line-out is going well, Argentina missing tackles. It's a pretty dominant England performance and playing some silky rugby with the ball in hand. Well, Clive, I think it's fair to say that England are making mincemeat of this supposedly beefy Argentinian scrum.
Really enjoyed it, Jason. To me, 9 out of 10 for England. It's the way, for the first time, instead of just a one off the rucks that we saw in the Six Nations, the ball handling of forwards, just that extra couple of passes has allowed the space. And 12 Trees and Wade have been the two stand-up players from the backs. Wade especially, not just his running, but the way he moves the ball. Everything's come off him. But it's just the way that England are playing. So I think it's fantastic. Have to say, very disappointed with Argentina. You can't play rugby at this level unless you get your scrum right and your line-outs right, and they've been a disaster for Argentina, which has allowed England to play all the rugby, but you can only play what you play against. So for England, fantastic. Really enjoyed watching it, really enjoyed the way they're playing.
And we talked about Christian Wade, didn't we, at the start of the show, saying we want him to get the ball in his hands, and when he did, what a terrific burst of speed.
Yeah, he has a great angle for a start. It's a lovely play. I think it's Ben Morgan that takes it wide and then just stretches the defence a little bit. And it's the timing of the run. You see a lot of wingers overrunning that, but he just comes in, doesn't panic, lovely offload once again. And again, they don't die with the ball, they don't panic. There he is, Wade. A lot of players will just go again, but he passes, can't beat the bouncing ball to upset the defence. And it's a great finish. Joseph, Strettle, that's a great start for England. And they've set a great platform. I'll just watch, here you go. In disarray the defence, ball goes to the ground, and they've got plenty of time. Joseph just steps, goes in, another offload, and it's a good finish by David Strettle. And as Clive said, it's just, the scrum has been dominant, line out has been dominant, the Argentinian line has been very, very poor, and that's what they base their game on. But I think the offloads, the support play, and the distribution skills have been very, very good by England. And you have to look at the score now and think, right, they have to kick on now, really, put their foot down, because you expect England's fitness to be far greater, the power will be far greater, because a lot of the Argentinian side are semi-pro or amateur, so I expect this to be a cricket score, maybe not an Australian cricket score, but maybe more.
Alex, just fantastic to see England playing with such fluency tonight.
Yeah, as you said earlier, the handling from forwards and backs together has been fantastic today. I think the other thing that will play Stuart and especially Paul Gustard's defence. When Argentina have had the ball, they haven't really done much. They've sort of been very stationary, and it's been very, very good leg tackles, which has then led to turnovers. And you see how well we've played from there. So it's fantastic for the coaches and the players to be playing so well.
And what have you made of Billy Twelvetrees this first half, Clive?
He's exactly what I think personally I wanted him in the Six Nations team, and looking Wade's past there, so he's a fluency, because unless you've got a guy who can generally play 10, 12 Trees can play 10, but he's got the size and physique to play at 12 as well, and you can run so many things off him. And I run a whole England team based around Jason Robinson, and I think Wade is that good. I think you can just get your whole attacking line-outs, your whole attacking play off him. And them attempts he got involved with the ball, but 12 Trees is, I thought he played one of the Six Nations. He was lucky to be left out, and he just adds a fluency to the game. And if you're stood out wide, if you're Christian Wade and Strettle, you'd love him playing inside, because the ball's going to come. But to me, I think what Alex said, it's the forwards passing the ball is the big difference. We've seen in England in the past more just one-off, which is not difficult to defend against. When you hit and move the ball one more, it just gives that more space, and then the speed of the ball comes through. And that's the game. But England have been great. It's the way they played. Never quite seen England play with this much fluidity before, and this is a good Argentinian team, but the set pace has been poor.
We were discussing it during the half, and this is the type of game, as backs, we would love to play. There's a set piece is very, very strong. The back row running well. They're offloading. 12 Trees, I think, has been superb. His decision making has been good. I know everyone's chipping in. They seem to be enjoying themselves, and I do expect to run away with it now.
And the forwards are chipping in as well. I mean, Ben Morgan is carrying the ball impressively well, and they're getting stuck in as well, and happy to have the ball in hand. And look at some of the offloads we've seen from some of the forwards tonight.
Yeah, well, I think the balance of the forwards rucking and forwards making sure they're offloading and carrying has been fantastic as well. Tom Woods hit a lot of rucks to support. But here, obviously teammates at Gloucester, Billy gets the offload here, but to Morgan, and he finishes really well. And he's a big, strong guy. And I guess as the Argentinians, the last thing they want is Billy Vunipola, Courtney Laws, and Foden to come on. It's probably the nightmare for them.
It's so easy, Jason, when you're playing and coaching. We talk about offloads. What that actually means is it's so easy to go to the floor and recycle. The real skill, if you can send your feet, just do that. Billy Twelvetrees there, Launchbury there, Christian Wade there, it makes all the difference. And I have to say Ben Morgan's been really outstanding. Not in his direct running, but the way he's moving the ball as well. just to defend against it. If someone goes on the floor, you can defend, or you got half a chance. If someone's offloading, then really you're trying to play the whole game without hitting the floor. But if you can do that, and the players, it's a mindset thing. So see the forwards doing that, all of them, Launchbury, you know, Ben Morgan, it makes a massive difference. And as you say, Jonathan, we'd love to play behind that forward pack that's doing that, because then you can hit lines.
They can't handle the physical aspect of England's game. You know, the reason the offloads are there is because the forwards are carrying the ball. They go in low, they're offloading all the time. And then if you know that your forwards are going to offload, you know, as outside backs, you think, right, I'm going to run off him, because you know they can't cope. And you know, if we were playing outside Billy at 12-3, say, look, run the inside shoulder, I'll come outside, ride the tackle, and then I'll take a short ball off you. And you know, when Vunipola comes on, and then you've got Eastman and Foden, when a tired Argentinian side, you know, they could absolutely cut in the pieces.
And traditionally, you know, you think when you go down to Salto, you go to Buenos Aires, you're taking on that Argentinian scrum, it's going to be pretty dominant. But England have absolutely smashed it, Clive.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think whatever Argentinian team are putting out, the scrum will go well. I mean, this scrum, the game's over when you see this with an Argentina scrum doing that, because normally you're fighting for your lives in there, and they've absolutely dominated the scrum, they've dominated the line out, and it just allows all this to happen. And the guys are having it's a bit more than the training run, to be fair to Argentina. They're doing their best, but when your scrum gets battered like this, you know you're in for a tough game, you know, and this is a great platform for England to play off.
Yeah, I think for me as well, you know, the Argentinians always pride themselves on their defence. You know, low tackles, very physical. You know, make a mess of the breakdown. We haven't quite seen that from Argentina yet, and that's the thing their coach and their fans will be disappointed at, is that, you know, it hasn't been that passion at the breakdown and the low tackles.
But the biggest thing they pride themselves, their scrummaging. Their whole history of Argentina rugby, with, you know, the Welsh team pride themselves on the guys who play at 10. You know, the Argentinian pride themselves on the scrum. To see that happening with a young England team is hugely encouraging for England, but very disappointing from an Argentinian point of view. Hugely.
I think, yeah, one thing they've done as well is, you know, we looked at in the first 10 minutes where they tried to run everything. You know, usually they play a very territorial game. You know, they have a set piece and then they kick. So maybe, you know, they should have kicked a little bit earlier to have a territorial, put the pressure on England. A little, you know, a young, inexperienced England side, and see what happens. But they didn't do that. They had a little confidence. They spread the ball about, and they couldn't break the English defence down. And now, you know, Phelan is thinking, well, you know, maybe you'll have to pick the strongest side for the next test. And I'm not sure what Contemporary is thinking now at 35, thinking, should I have retired?
We saw him waving his arms around.
Andy said in commentary, when you start that way, the first 10 minutes England defending just gets everyone in the game. I mean, they're away from home. Yeah. They just played into, the line was there was nothing happening, but they got everyone into the game, and then the confidence grows. So, hang on, guys, there's actually not much here. And then you smash them in the scrums, and you're all looking, it's going to be a good day.
OK, well, tonight we're focusing on International Rugby Union in South America. Very soon, more live football for you on the BBC. The Confederations Cup, live from Brazil, is almost upon us. It is going to be a terrific competition, the Confederations Cup. Before that, though, of course, it's all about Argentina v England tonight. And then, of course, we've got the second test for you on Saturday, the 15th of June at 8 o'clock from Buenos Aires. So what exactly was Felipe Contepomi saying then, Jonathan? You were listening to it very carefully.
Just hang on in, boys, I think. You know, there's not really much you can say. Just try and build them up and hang on in there. You know, they know they're up against it now, and they can't show that unless they've got some magic props to bring on. But it's going to be a long 40 minutes.
And this is just perfect for Stuart Lancaster and his coaching team, isn't it, Clive? Because that's what the summer tour is all about. It's about unearthing gems.
Yeah, it's and you mentioned his coaching team. We've got to say well done to Baxter and Gus, the Saracens coach, who came in to help Stuart, because the guys are over the Lions. But just look how they're technically playing. They'll be very pleased. It's, as I said, it's more than the training run, but you know, coaching's important, and they've got the guys playing. You know, they're playing with a lot of fluidity, a lot of passion, and they'll be very pleased. So it'll be, you know, we've all been in dressing rooms at half time. That is a tough dressing room for the Argentinians, because they're playing at home, and that'll be a big. They weren't expecting that, I'm sure.
And you know these boys very well. They all seem to be playing with confidence. They all want the ball.
Yeah, I think Stuart's obviously told them to go out there and play and enjoy themselves, and they're doing what they've done week in, week out for their club. So it's fantastic to see.
Thank you very much indeed, guys. Let's hand you back then to our commentary team, Andy Robinson and Eddie Butler.
We're underway in the second half. Dave Atwood
Up now, keep
with the
up.
safe catch on England's 22. And now away from the 22 as the forwards carry on the good work of the first half.
Sorry, obstruction.
But there's some obstruction in there, and it's a penalty to Argentina.
The initial maul was really, really good. Great setup, but unfortunately they got split apart by the Argentinian defence, and a little bit frustrating there because England could have broken out of that maul and played away from it. And again, with better communication, that penalty wouldn't have been given away.
Balls at the bench. Okay, sir.
Just the start that Argentina wanted, and England have got to be clinical in this half.
Just thinking, from the moment England lost possession near the Argentine line and Argentina worked their way downfield, England looked a bit ragged, and they started by giving Bustos Moyano a second pop at goal.
The job is not done yet, and it's important to lift the pace again. Maybe players from the bench will be brought on.
Wide. 1 out of 3 for the fullback.
Argentina pride themselves on their goal kickers. You think about Hernandez. Contepomi himself is a very good goal kicker. They'll be really disappointed by that.
Contepomi at the age of 35 on his farewell tour. He's come out of retirement to say goodbye at home.
He still looks in great shape, doesn't he? A great competitor as well. England a little bit sloppy.
It's another mistake by England, straight out.
So, England had dominance at the scrum for much of the first half. This is a huge scrum for the forwards to start to get the dominance back. Good concentration, good balance. England have been very good after the hit, being able to chase their feet and put Argentina under pressure.
It's noticeable that these Puma forwards all had a bit of slapping and encouragement to each other as they bound to go down in the scrum. They want this to be right, because this in the first half was a mess for them.
Sit!
That's better. Away comes number 8, Leonardi. And the pickup and the drive, and they're suddenly on the front foot, Argentina. Oh, David Wilson with the tackle on Uda Pizeta. Joe Launchby trying to make life difficult for Landajo. And they're on the front foot again. Contepomi takes on Freddie Burns and Billy Twelvetrees, who do well in defence.
England's tackling has been really clinical.
Leonardi again, the number 8.
They've been working in twos, tackling in twos. Always stopping the go forward.
Change of tactic. Went forward off Argentina. Mike Brown comes away with it. Christian Wade outside him. Brown still going. This is Billy Twelvetrees, who had a very thoughtful first half, running fine lines.
Yeah, the beauty of Billy Twelvetrees is he always squares up when he goes through the tackle.
Twelvetrees at 10, Burns at 12, and England are deep in the Pumas 22.
Argentina having to revert to the kicks because of England's defence is so good. See what they're trying to do there, try to isolate big man, looking at Lasada as a mismatch up against Christian Wade. Unfortunately knocked the ball on there.
Garcia Vega.
It's not
straight again. Mariano Galassa with the take.
What this game has shown, Eddie, is how important the set piece is. Being able to win your own possession is vitally important, and you've got to be clinical about that. England have been very good at winning their own set piece. At the scrum and the line out, Argentina have been under real pressure at the line out, and it is it's put them under huge pressure here now. This is a great attacking position for England. Just shows you the hours that you put in at your line out attack and your scrummaging, being able to work out your defensive plays as well. So important.
This is anything but a defensive play for England now. It's a real opportunity. Joe Marler on the loose head. The bearded Rob Webber at hooker. And David Wilson, the oldest in the England pack at 28. The most capped, 27th cap today.
Touch! England early.
England started with their first scrum in the first half, went early. Really disappointing that after half-time happens again. I've been really impressed by Webber. I think he's defended very strongly, been physical, but also his passing has been excellent. Accurate at the line out as well.
It's a long kick by Argentina, but it'll be England's throw. It was a free kick, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Five.
Dave Atwood with a take under pressure. Lee Dixon just to change things around a bit. Not quite far enough, but Joe Launchbury got his hands on that. Argentina pulled it back
Offside.
and win the penalty, not retreating.
Because the kick didn't go 10 metres, players in front of the ball. Unfortunately for them, they had to get away from the ball because they're in front of the kick. They had to get 10 metres from it. They didn't. Simple penalty for the referee to give. And a big kick now.
This is a little test of nerves for the 27-year-old. Because the crowd, his own crowd, is on his back.
They're a bit restless, aren't they?
They are a bit, aren't they?
But Argentina are taking the penalties because England's defence has been very good. If England's defence had been soft and Argentina had been getting momentum, they potentially would have gone to a line out here and played off that. They haven't been able to do that because England have been defending very, very well.
Oh, he's pushed it again.
Exactly the same place.
Yeah. Good follow-up tackle by Atwood. And Farias Cabello takes on Dave Strettle and goes through him. There's Makome, the other flanker. In comes Tiesi, the centre, on the inside pass. Landajo. Change. Tiesi on his shoulder. Landajo went to ground. England have slowed it down. And Argentina looking to speed it back up again.
They've just started to get some momentum, get some go forward.
Leave! Didn't see it, that leave.
And Dajo just repositions his hooker. He has to play it quickly.
Move!
Turnover ball, Ben Morgan. Good pass, Ben Morgan to Billy Twelvetrees.
Ah, great line. Good Twelvetrees.
Feet. Jonathan Joseph. Strettle outside him, and the pass just goes. That's a touch. Argentina trying to break out, but the question is, should England really have finished that?
Yeah, that was another opportunity. England have taken their chances well in this game, scored 3 tries, but that was just one that's got away. Great play from Morgan, great play from Twelvetrees. Those 2 players have really linked well together. You see Twelvetrees straightening up the line, creates the space, because the outside defenders have got to go in and tackle him. And I felt that at this stage that just that accuracy, just getting that ball away. But actually, if Strettle could have come underneath Jonathan Joseph, actually he would have been able to score under the post.
Yeah.
A great defence by England, turning it into attack. And England has already scored 3 tries from turnovers. Again, it just shows you the mindset that's in this English team at the moment, to play from turnovers, and they played very well.
Change in the Argentine front row. Guillermo Roan is on in the front row.
Coach! Touch! Sit!
A little bit more oomph perhaps in their scrum. Felipe Contepomi.
I'm not sure he wanted that.
And that's Dave Atwood putting himself about. Good tackle by the second row. And Christian Wade with Mike Brown. Links well. Brown still going.
Well played, Mike Brown.
And Wade first there. Joseph. Tom Wood, the captain. Strettle, Rob Webber, the hooker, good pass. Matt Kvesic.
12!
Launchbury. And another offload goes to Billy Twelvetrees. They'll check this for the forward pass.
Just shows you the quality of Joe Launchbury. His ability to square up through the tackle enabled him to attack the space. Great offload. It seemed a little bit forward, but they're checking that pass. Brilliant to see the counter-attacking work of Mike Brown. That's what that was created through. Mike Brown working really hard, very balanced runner.
Sean, just so you know, I'm rolling it forward. Just want to check to see if these are
I think it is going to be decreed forward. England start warming up their subs. Billy Twelvetrees will be denied by Chris Pollock of New Zealand.
Yes, Sean.
What's been really good to see in this game is the unselfish work of the wingers. The wingers actually and Jonathan Joseph have really worked hard to get to the tackles.
I just wasn't quite sure. My mind.
England are soon to make some changes. Courtney Law's looking to come on with Richard Wigglesworth. Some real power there with Courtney Laws.
I think this is the first sign of the heat out there that Stuart Lancaster, he said, if it is going to be warm, I'm going to be bringing on players on 50 rather than 60 minutes.
I think Dave Atwood has had a really good game. He's been putting in a lot of secondary hits in tackles.
Contepomi under a better Argentine scrum. Now then, Mike Brown. Ooh, good tackle on him.
Yeah, good first up tackle. The England support went off their feet.
Gonzalo Tiesi, the centre, with the tackle and the penalty.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Think so, mate.
And the changes are going to be made at this line out.
Bizeta puts it down into the England half. Courtney Laws
My side, dead side.
is coming on.
Time.
As is Richard Wigglesworth.
There's a communication problem down there. Well played, Dave Atwood. I think he had a very good game. Lee Dixon as well. They should be pleased with the 50 minutes that they've had there.
Move, Simon!
Morgan comes away with the ball. Good hands from Joe Marler, the prop. Strettle comes off his wing. That is forward.
Get out.
There's a little bit of afters going on. Joe Marler involved, and Marler goes back for a little bit more.
That was the first opportunity that Matt Kvezik had to get over the ball, and he won the turnover there. With the Argentinian prop being isolated.
Second time one has been involved. I don't know what happened, yeah, but he just shoved him.
It's Joe Marler.
1 and 2.
That's hooker Martin Garcia Veiga.
I'm going to. Calm down. Yeah. Okay.
Calm down.
Guys, right out or scrum? Scrum.
Well, I think that's good by Chris Pollock. Not bothered by any of it.
He handled it well. Good communication from his touch coach, Nigel Owens, as well.
And probably just as well to take Garcia Veiga off and bring on Mauricio Guidoni.
Touch!
He's inexperienced as well, so England can really put some pressure on him at the line-out.
That's strong running. Matthias Orlando on Freddie Burns. Inside pass, Tiesi. This is the new hooker, Guidoni.
England! Damage.
Contepomi cuts inside 12 trees. The offloads don't quite work. Advantage still being played. Now there are gaps. Oh, just...
They knocked the ball on.
Knock on, yeah.
13, offside. Yeah.
Again, England's defence has been very good. The second hit that's going in is stopping Argentina getting any momentum. I think the work that Paul Gustard has done with the defensive team has been very, very impressive. They'll be pleased with the quality of tackle, the quality of hits they're going in.
For that, it came off. Yeah, no, I've already got the first one. No, I got the first one.
Chris Pollock and Nigel Owens just having a little chat. Offside the crime, and Argentina take the pressure off Bustos Moyano and go for the corner. The kicker is spared,
but the hooker hasn't been. Can the new hooker hit the line out? The pressure's on here. This is a coach. You've got your fingers crossed. You're really hoping that it's going to work.
Jonathan Joseph had a busy day. He's done well.
No.
And England are just building the pressure on this line out. Tom Wood's so good at the front of the line out. He's a big man, and they get him up very quickly.
A change for Argentina as Belisario Aguja comes on for right wing Matthias Orlando. The first bit of the line out goes well for Argentina.
Get out! Advantage.
Penalty advantage, Argentina. They got a bit of a drive going on here.
Still advantage.
Still advantage. What do the attacking side do now? Same again?
I'd say they're going to go for same again. England did pretty well to defend that maul, but because it's so difficult to defend mauls, once it's set up, the referee penalises them for coming at the side.
The captain, Contepomi, puts Argentina back into that 5-metre line-out position.
Courtney Lawes in the middle of the England defence. He's very strong here. Expect him to create some havoc.
England come away with the ball through Christian Wade. Richard Wigglesworth finds Burns.
Yeah, good pressure from England. Turn over the line out. Argentina starting to think about where they can actually go, because taking the line outs is not really working for them. What you hear with the England team as well, in defence, the defensive line outs, the communication has been excellent.
That's brilliantly taken by Joe Launchbreed. Support from Courtney Lawes. Wigglesworth. Kvesic. Burns. Good pickup by Jonathan Joseph. Little dink from Freddie Burns. Didn't quite land for him.
Play!
Play, says the referee.
And we have another line out. This has been a great attacking weapon for England today, the Argentine line out. I think it's important just to keep the two passes momentum going with England. This is a crucial period. If England can score now, they'll kill the game off.
Into the last quarter. Argentina win a line out. A little ironic cheer goes up from the crowd.
Stop.
Strettle read the kick well from Contepomi. Good take by the fullback Bustos Majano.
I was slightly disappointed that Dave Strettle kicked that ball. There was space for him to run and play. Unfortunately, he kicked the ball away, which has given the ball back to Argentina, and they're going to end up now with a penalty.
Tiesi and Guidoni, the replacement, combine. As the referee, as he called advantage over. Leonardi knocks on, we go back for the penalty. Tom Wood, the captain, penalised.
It's been really good to see David Strettle run there and link in with Mike Brown. There was opportunity for him to do that. This is the time where England, I think, just need that little bit of time on the ball, just to get back to get that some direction, get the offloads going, start getting the second pass working. England look a little bit tired at the moment.
25-3 at half-time, 25-3 it still is.
That's a great kick from Contepomi.
Courtney Lawes trots back to the line-out, but it's a very tall, athletic line-out they have now, with Tom Wood down the front, Lawes, Launchbury. So Billy Twelvetree just goes into the England forwards. This is Gonzalo Tiesi, and off goes Esteban Losada. On comes Tomás Vallejos.
England sacked that maul really well. Lawes in the middle of that.
Slightly isolated. Courtney Lawes has the ball carrier, and Courtney Lawes nearly pinches it.
He was a little bit unlucky there. He got himself back to the feet. I felt he let go.
Another penalty. This time it's Joe Mahler who's penalised.
I would look at potentially going for a scrum here. If I was Argentina, the maul hasn't been really working for them. The line-out has struggled. I think it's worth looking at taking a scrum with the new forwards on.
I was just thinking how well has the scrum been going?
Well, on a couple of occasions, they've... here we go, we're going to see now. On a couple of occasions, they've got the go forward on it.
They have changed their front five. Guidone, Hooker, Rohan, prop.
Wait for me.
Vallejos, second row. This is scrum half. Martin Landajo.
Touch! Sit!
Ruja waits on this side. They're going for the drive first of all.
Great scrum from England.
Instead, Contepomi to Tiesi. Good defence. Good tackle, Freddie Burns.
Scrum down.
Another scrum.
But the sharpness of Kovacic going in for the ball on the floor was very, very good there. After a very good tackle from Freddie Burns. A low tackle means that Argentina have to release the ball, and Kovacic went in very quickly to slow the ball down. He was unlucky that he wasn't able to affect the turnover.
Hey, you were fine, but you just had two guys having a crip at it, so...
This is the Argentinian line-out being taken apart by Dave Atwood, by Tom Wood. It's Joe Launchbury. Courtney Laws in support there. It's been a good day at the set piece for England.
Yeah, it has been, and as soon as hookers start missing 1-2 line-outs, it really gets to their heads, and certainly these two Argentinian hookers will need some counselling after this performance.
The last one?
No points in the second half.
Not you then.
Not suggesting you.
But England look comfortable defensively. Argentina haven't really looked like scoring, even though the pressure that they're in defending in their 22. There hasn't been a clear-cut chance for Argentina to score.
Gabriel Ascarate is on for Argentina.
Touch! Sit!
To the right of this scrimmage. It's very messy, and somehow Argentina has stolen it back after more good work by the England forwards. And the ruck's gone badly for Argentina this time. And England have looked dangerous on turnover ball, even in their own 22, but this time Richard Wigglesworth bangs it away.
Great mindset at the scrum. And what's been enjoyable about these scrums, they haven't gone to ground, have they? So both teams have been trying to keep the scrums up, and England have been able to get that secondary push through. So the power that's coming from the back five, keeping scrummaging, has enabled the front row to transfer that pressure onto the Argentinian front row, and that's why the momentum's been coming after 3 or 4 seconds.
That was... See, I thought that he gave me an offside call.
There's an exciting moment going to happen. Carl Eastman ready to come onto the field, and he's going to be coming onto the centre. This is going to be really, really exciting. He's a special player.
Kyle Eastman in the background there, wearing 22, comes on. Jonathan Joseph goes off. Kyle Eastman, once of St Helens, out of Rugby League, into the 50-man code. And it's sort of ready-made for somebody in the last quarter to show what they can do.
Well, England haven't had a lot of ball because they've been giving penalties away, but also they've been kicking the ball away.
As they do now.
Back!
Bustos Moyano lets another one drop. Burns goes back. Morgan with him.
Yeah, the game is just drifting a little bit at the moment, isn't it?
Gone flat, isn't it?
Yeah. Partly because England have not passed the ball. They've been kicking the ball away.
Francisco Gomez Cordela comes on for the last of the front row forwards to be replaced. Massimiliano Bustos. Scramble the ball away. Here's the new hooker, Guidoni. Kadesic bundled out of the way there. Contepomi firing the passes out. Fullback Bustos Moyano thrown down.
Good first tackle from Eastman. Great line speed from Laws.
Courtney Laws going for the chop tackle and winning England the penalty.
That's exactly what you want to see from the players coming off the bench. Eastman making that first tackle, Laws making the second tackle, giving some real impetus to the other players that have been on for the last 67 minutes. And that was a great hit. But also the work of the second, third player, getting past the ball, being able to affect the turnovers. Really impressive by England.
Be very careful.
Another clutch of replacements stands by. This is Freddie Burns. 21 for Argentina goes on. Nicolas Vergajo. Off comes scrum half Martin Nandajo.
Hold. Just hold for me. Time's off.
67 minutes gone, not long left. Now then, coming into the frame soon is the impressive figure of Billy Vunipola. So it's another new cap for England, and it's the ever so impressive Ben Morgan who goes off. Also on for England
is David Pace's come on at hooker. Two impressive performances from Ben Morgan and from Rob Webber. They've had excellent games today. England giving a penalty away because they got in front and obstructing at the line-out maul. Again, Joe Marler just getting involved in something.
No more.
Now, I hope England can just raise the pace in this next 10 minutes. I think it's important for them to do that. Argentina will be looking at this second game and targeting that. I think if England can finish strongly now, that will put some real doubt in Argentina next week.
Here's Joe Marler, combative. Line out ball, and here at last the big men running at the England midfield. This is better from Argentina. Felipe Contepomi rides the challenge, goes down. And Argentina have another penalty. Ooh, is this going to be a card?
Courtney Laws has not rolled away there, and the first time in this half Argentina really got some go forward, having won a line out. Unfortunate that there's going to be a yellow card here, but the referee had warned him.
It is Courtney Laws who is shown the yellow card, so it's a disappointing end to the game.
But that was because of the penalties that had been given away beforehand, and that's a team penalty that's happened to him as a team yellow card. But it puts England under a little bit more pressure.
There's Courtney Laws on his knees there, not releasing. Oh. That's Dr. Felipe having a little say with, I think that's his scalpel hand.
It's once half! Once!
Still, it is Argentina. They have got this breeze behind them. They haven't scored in the second half, but it's been a much closer context. England dominated the first and won the game there, but Argentina have had the second. Now then, Kyle Eastman, a first touch for him. Penalty advantage for England. Gonzalo Tiesi turns. Oh, beautifully taken by Dave Strettle, but he'll come back. Nigel Owens has his flag up. This is Chris Pollock, the referee. It's a hot old day, hot old night.
Oh, that was unlucky. If on a bigger pitch, that would have worked perfectly for Strettle there. Good option from Freddie Burns.
Not straight again.
Actually, I think the line-out throw was straight there, but Argentina went across the line that created the illusion that it wasn't straight. Poor discipline by the Argentinian jumpers in that phase.
One last change to be made. Tomás de la Vega comes on into the back row, and it's Farias Cabello who goes off.
I really hope that we see England move the ball here. You got Kyle Eastman in that back line, Christian Wade. It'd be great to see them with the ball in hand now.
Touch! Sit!
It's Chris Pollock, tempted to look at Joe Marler, but David Wilson in the wars.
Calm down. I've spoken this twice. I've spoken to you.
Dave Wilson's had a very good tussle in the front row. I think he's been playing very well. An interesting change being made with Dawn Jones coming in on the tight head. Well played, David Wilson. He's had a very good game today.
This is Billy Tweltrees, who's playing flanker. Why's that then?
Well, with the
the sin binning, of course.
With the sin binning occurred.
England get the free kick. Billy Vunipola. Yes, that's what he does. Wigglesworth, Tom Wood, spinning. For the first time, for a long time, a little bit of urgency in England. Good hands, Matt Kvesic, Kyle Eastman, and Dave Strettle knocks on.
It just shows you, I thought that was a really well-worked play there. Coming back on the short side, Freddie Burns running very, very well. A very good pass by Eastman. Unfortunately, Stretton took his eyes off the ball and dropped it. Just a poor catch. Just a poor catch that occurred there. But everything was very good apart from that last part of the game.
Don't you think that suddenly it was a glimpse of what they did in the first half? It has gone flat in the second half.
Perhaps the heat is getting to everybody. But it was a drop in concentration. That's all that can be said for Strettle there.
Kyle Eastman. Are you still blaming Dave Strettle completely?
Yeah, I think he should catch that. Eastman under a little bit of pressure, got the pass away.
From you, yes.
In comes Billy, the fullback. Well, he'll have a few frustrations of his own. Old Martin Bustos Mojano, because he's kicked badly off the ground.
He has indeed.
Nige, look after that, son.
New scrum half.
Crouch! Touch!
Bergaggio to feed. Off he goes. Ooh. He chose to kick then. It was, if he'd run, he might have gone somewhere. Now then.
Well done, Ben Foden. That's great work from Ben Foden and the strength of
Christian Wade
in the tackle.
Now then. Yeah, David Pace just straying in front there.
It's been noticeable with some of the England forwards, just got a touch too early on a number of occasions. And there's a big moment just about occurred now. Young Henry Thomas is coming on, and it's a big moment for me. Quite emotional about this one. I saw Henry Thomas as a 6-year-old down at Bath Minis start his playing career there, and now he's come on the tight head. Millfield schoolboy, coached by John Mallett at the tight head, and a little bit more mobility than John Mallett has, and a few more skills, I'm pleased to say.
Joe Mallett goes off. Paul Doran-Jones, David Pace, and Henry Thomas winning his first cap, the new England front row. That one went down hard on this near side.
The first scrum to go down. It's been a good contest, but we've got the replacements on, and suddenly the scrums are going down.
Don't get carried away, balance, then we go together.
Hey, yeah. On the inside of them? Outside. Outside, keep. Okay.
Seconds. Crouch! Touch!
Free kick, England. One last chance to put some urgency into it. Billy Vunipola. Oh, I love all that.
That's a great carry. He's up to carry again.
Here he is again. This time they gang up on him earlier. Bit of width now. Strettle. Oh, Ben Foden. And this is, well, it's now
David Pace with a really good line.
Yeah. Penalty to England. They won't want to finish with a kick, so off they come. And it is going to be, is it a try for Ben Foden? Joe Launchby has let the ball go. It'll be a scrimmage.
That was great tracking work by Ben Foden. Really good on the tap penalty. And unfortunately, the other England support players weren't there quick enough to Ben Foden. If they could have anticipated what Ben was trying to do, England would have scored there. So great work, great communication. Just needed somebody running off him there, and a try would have occurred.
While the slow motion is being shown, Christian Wade is no, he's all right. He just received some attention, and a lot of attention, to what looked like a knee, but he's walking around. He's fine, everybody.
They're in the last 3 minutes now. It's important England keep the pressure on here.
Touch! Sit!
Better balance from both packs at that scrum.
Felipe Contepomi. Argentina have looked much more composed with Contepomi at 10.
They have indeed. But England's defence has been solid, and they haven't been able to get that much momentum against them. So I think Argentina will be disappointed with the amount of possession they've had this half, that they actually haven't been able to score a try. That's the great work of England's 2 men into the tackle, and the quality of the tackles as well has been very impressive.
David Pace, he's had a busy session as a replacement. Launchbury, fingertips, Wigglesworth, 12 trees. Billy Vunipola.
Does he pass?
I wouldn't think so, not tonight. In contrast to Ben Morgan, whom he replaced. Ben Morgan, outstanding with his passing.
Yeah, I agree. Something for Billy to build on in his, as he develops his international career. He's probably very excited on the field and wants to show what he can do.
The Vunipola boys busy this summer. Mako out with the Lions in Australia. Billy here in the far north of Argentina.
And the boys look quality players, and it's fantastic for the family that they've achieved what they've achieved at such a young age.
England open. 4 open.
Argentina's line out better. It's a bit of a standing start. They've done well to grind that forward. England have the put in. One last chance. 38 seconds on the clock, less now.
And back on comes Courtney Laws. Yeah, I really hope England go for a set play move here, just to finish off their performance. That first half was very clinical. The game was won through what they did in that first half, but now just have that little bit of spark at the end of the game.
25 points to 3 at the end of the second half, as it was at half-time. But it's never been in doubt. I mean, Argentina had plenty of possession, but they haven't threatened to score. They've missed their penalties, but England have had the game sewn up. There goes the hooter. We will have the scrum. England get the hit right and the advance. Now then, here goes Billy. Here goes Billy, and it's...
TMO.
Why are they calling for TMO there? Obstruction?
Sean, can you please check whether there's been someone held at the scrum there, please?
What?
Yeah,
Interesting.
one of the Argentinian boys held at the scrum, please.
We also have a toilet roll being thrown over the post as well.
Sean Veldsman, the South African TMO. Here we go. Was 7 being held there?
Well, there was connection. So if you look at Matt Kovacic here, he is holding on to the play, but he does release him once Vunipola picks the ball up. Actually, the 7 could have made the tackle. So there is holding. Probably a penalty. Probably, I'd expect a penalty to be given there.
Yeah, Sean. Okay, so fine. Try.
Oh, there you go.
The try has been awarded on the advice of Sean Veldsman. Chris Pollock awards the try, and Billy Vunipola, on his debut, scores.
Wow. Impressive carry right at the end of the game there from Vunipola. He's very good at being able to stay up on his feet. Just show you the contact in the scrum, but because the ball was when the ball was released, Kovacic let go. TMO allowed it to happen.
So the game comes to a conclusion with a try. England's 4th, their first of the second half, but it is a comfortable victory for the visitors, and it is a difficult place to come and win, but they have beaten Argentina handsomely. Argentina 3, England 32.